RFK clip right before she flies away on vacation. Whose plane are you riding on?
That's a good point. That's a good point. RFK.
You asking what are your many buddies? What are the Epstein planes out there still that you?
RFK thinks he's defending himself here in this clip.
Leaving us with an RFK clip is just like farting right before you get off the elevator and just being like, it's just leaving us all with a bad taste in our mouth.
Well, I don't do that because I'm a girl. So that doesn't apply to me, Brandon.
I mean, generally, I know women don't fart.
Yes. I'm glad this part's going to be included in our conversation about this. So thank you for that. RFK thinks he's defending himself here about having ridden on Jeffrey Epstein's plane. Let's see how he does it.
You've done one of the craziest things ever, which is you just announced that you were on Epstein's flight. Like, you're the only person, I think, that was like, hey, I was on. Yeah. Usually people were like, hey, you were on. And you were like, no, let me just tell everybody.
Pause it.
Yeah,
pause
Pete,
it.
that is not true.
Because I want to just say, I don't know if they get to this in this clip, but he was asked, he didn't just come out with it, if he was on Epstein's plane. Because I think
by Jesse Waters.
Yeah, they asked him because they found like he was on it or something, and he did give information on his own, but he didn't start it. The information he gave us on his own was that, not only did I write it once, I wrote it multiple times.
I've never heard of this show, but for me, this is not where I would want to have this conversation. Like, this guy looks like he promotes crypto. No offense to the interviewer, but he kind of looks like he promotes crypto, and like this is where they have like crypto talk. I wouldn't want to talk about my complicity in some sort of like child sex trafficking ring in this particular location.
Yeah, this is comedian Andrew Schultz. He kind of looks like Waluigi, sort of.
Yeah,
a
little bit.
Pickup artist Waluigi vibe.
Yeah, I can't speak to this podcast or what.
He might be great. No offense to him. I don't think
he's great. I don't know too much about him either, but with the clips I've seen of him, he's
like a viral shock.
He had the most recent thing I saw was he had that comedian Shane Gillis, I think his last name is. Yeah. The one who just hosted SNL. And this guy and his co-host started cracking Down syndrome jokes, thinking it was cool to do that with Shane Gillis there. And Shane looked obviously uncomfortable at what they were saying because, it was just a bizarre behavior. Because he makes jokes because he has family members who have Down syndrome, so he makes jokes that relate to that. But these guys were just like shitting on random people with Down syndrome.
So not great, folks. Especially, you could probably infer that for how they're trying to downplay RFK's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. But again, his teeing him up here, friendly audience, defend yourself. This is how RFK Jr. chooses to do so.
People were like, hey, you were on, and you were like, no, let me just tell everybody. Great plane.
It was a plane.
Yeah.
No, it was not. I don't know.
It's not going to impress him, right?
It wasn't like a big plane.
Yeah.
Like, I've been on Donald Trump's plane.
Nice.
Which is, it's like a 737.
Yeah.
It's not like a little G6 or something
Man
like that.
I love it. Holy shit. Just flex on him. A little G6. Okay, but give the context, obviously, to the Epstein thing, because you basically got out ahead of the...
So first of all, I'm in New York for most of my life.
Yeah.
So, you run into everybody in New York. I knew Harvey Weinstein. I knew Roger Ailes. I knew O.J. Simpson came to my house. Bill Cosby came to my house.
You also knew good people.
Yeah. I did know a lot of them, but, you don't know these people are swamp creatures until all this stuff comes out.
Yeah. O.J.'s innocent. O.J. has done nothing.
Yeah.
Wait, do you know something?
I will hand it to Andrew Schultz for that line after where he says, "But you did also know some good people, right?" That was pretty good. But
he teed it up.
That was bizarre.
RFK very much was like, every single famous pervert I know.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah.
I know. And I didn't know until after.
Every famous sexual predator I'm friends with, or at least was friends with, or knew in some capacity.
I'm sorry, but people were making jokes about Right, I'm still a Kennedy. People were making jokes about there's a Harvey Weinstein joke in like a 2008 episode of 30 Rock. Like there are old speeches talking about, you know, like the pushiness or the aggressiveness of Harvey Weinstein. People knew. Like, what is the story of Brad Pitt cornering Weinstein because he was attempting to assault his girlfriend at the time, Gwyneth Paltrow, the woman who played Gloria in The Sopranos, was raped by him. Yeah, I mean, like, this was well documented. It was just kind of accepted as behavior that certain males engaged in. The Bill Cosby allegations were very well out there. He just lists all the people that he was okay with hanging out with at that time until it became like a little bit sketchy, you know, and he just volunteered that information.
I mean, I want to see who else he was hanging out with. It kind of seems like there's a pattern here. We might be able to uncover some crimes.
We could, yeah. Perhaps he is like the one of the threads here. I mean, who else is he going to say that he's been hanging out with? Kim Jong-un? Jeffrey Dahmer. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what a way to defend yourself.
Right.
Amazing.
I was really good friends with Charles Manson.
Right. Listen, I had no idea O.J. Simpson stole that memorabilia when I had him over my house. Okay, maybe that's what his problem with OJ is. Like, I don't know how further he can go.
So, well, thank you for letting us know, RFK, in the interest of transparency. And what's just so amazing too is, like, you know, Aaron Rodgers, for example, is number one. Like, I will raise my sword for you, RFK. He's the target audience, that kind of thinker, the Joe Rogan listener, for someone who's going to be sympathetic to RFK's presidential bid. But I mean, Rodgers just made news by baselessly accusing Jimmy Kimmel of being involved with Jeffrey Epstein as a way to, like, get back at him for jokes he made about him. And it's just like, how do these conspiracy-minded RFK supporters square their obsession with Jeffrey Epstein and the client list with the fact that their guy, conspiracy theorist in chief, was on Epstein's plane?
Well, I mean, from my perspective, it's because, like, they're mostly interested in how conspiracies make them feel, not the specific details of them. And so you see a lot of, same with, like, when people say they love Law and Order, and then they're like, but I'm a Trump fan. And you're like, okay, well, you clearly don't. And so a lot of this is just, like, feeling. So, like, the Epstein things makes conspiracy theorists feel like they're validated in their belief that there's some sort of secret child sex cabal going through our, like, government. And then RFK being, like, a relatively well-known figure giving credence to their crazy ideas makes them feel validated too. So even though those two things are kind of in direct contradiction, they'll just ignore it.
Yeah, but also, like, I think we really have to really focus on that. This is a Kennedy saying this. Like, this isn't like, oh, like, this is some like, you know, famous actor. But, like, when this was all going on, they were just like some upcoming powerless guy who had no sway. This is a guy who was born with the silver spoon. Like, this is someone who
comparing plane sizes. Oh, you know, Epstein's plane is not as nice as Trump's plane.
Right.
Whoa,
it was born into like one of the most powerful American families. Like, this is a guy who definitely had to have at the very least heard these things about these people from his family members, from the people around him, even if they were just gossip and rumors. He had to have heard it when he was with these people.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. All right, guys, hanging up the phone lines, going to read some IMs and get out of here, and I'll be gone until next Thursday. Wow. Okay. D-Waxed Shellac says, almost every like or follow I get on Twitter is a sexy avatar with an odd name who joined in July 2023 who follows 4,000 people but has 35 followers. Yeah, the amount of bots has dramatically increased, at least from my experience. Even though that was what Elon said his verification process was supposed to weed out. The irony giant, no one is protesting about Alderaan being destroyed. Sorry, go on. Someone said something.
I was just like, porn bots have free speech too. That's the First Amendment.
No one cares about the Fremen. Not enough people are talking out for the Fremen.
Not enough. Not says some of us have been yelling about Burma, Yemen, and the other damn genocides happening. Yeah, I mean, I didn't even acknowledge the Yemen stuff where we did multiple segments on that. And you know what the through line was that the United States was supporting the Saudi Arabia and what they were doing in Yemen financially. That's why we were covering it then too.
Which also, by the way, it can't be repeated enough because, as you know, as the famous only Palestinian obsessives, we didn't have Anel Shalin on during the conflict from the Quincy Institute to literally talk about what was happening in Yemen.
Yep.
Oh no, wait, we did. And the U.S.'s support for Saudi Arabia, as Shalin outlined, literally made the Houthis stronger and made the conflict worse.
Yep, exactly. Moody Monkey, is Sweeney thin? They are saying body positivity is over. Yeah, she's thin and conventionally attractive. I don't even know why we're drawing broad conclusions about society based on one celebrity being a hot lady, but apparently that's
Double D
it.
harbingers.
She's beautiful. I don't understand why that can't just be the story. Anyway,
real leftists are attracted to all types of women. Don't follow the right wings.
Speak on it.
I'm attracted to personalities.
Oh, you are the true leftist. You're the truest of us all.
Yes, I'm to the left of Tim Pool on breasts, and to the right of Tim Pool on war.